Hey guys, Mr. Full Send here, coming at you from Southfield, Michigan. Beautiful backdrop. We're actually going to get ready to rip this place in just a second. But today, you know, we've all had a lot of time on our hands with the quarantine, and I know we're trying to find things to keep us busy. I cleaned up my bag, I got all my quads working, you know, just basically enjoying a lot of time with my family and trying to stay safe. Not spread this virus and do the best we can. But I had to get outside today, I had to go do some ripping. And I also wanted to share with you guys something that I've been doing with my batteries lately to try to keep them virus free, try to keep these things as healthy as possible. They're expensive, and we want to keep them healthy. And no one ever told me about what resistance was. You know, Oscar Lang, L-I-A-N-G, has a wonderful tutorial on how to measure resistance and, you know, the electricity flow. But the point is that these batteries over time degrade, and we want to keep the amount of resistance as low as possible so we get the most out of these batteries. The electricity flows better to our quads. So I want to share with you what I'm doing, and that's I have a LIPO tracker. So I've had a lot of time. I've taken each of my 16 batteries, gone through, checked each cell, wrote down what those calculations are, and then I came up with kind of a system to determine what's a great battery, what's an okay battery, and what's a battery I probably need to either dispose of or move on to, you know, like my soldering iron or my goggles or something like that. So don't need as much performance for some of that stuff. So enjoy the rip. I am going to be right back, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing with my batteries. And I hope you guys are staying safe, man. This is a great hobby for us to practice social distancing. I'm all by myself out here on top of this parking garage. So I'm going to go rip this place. Hopefully you enjoy it, and stay tuned. We'll learn how to take good care of these things. All right, I have the High-Tech X2 AC Plus. It's just a dual charger, but you can measure resistance on just about any of the chargers out there, any of the good ones. So here I am. I'm just going to. So the first thing I do is, as I mentioned, I'm just going to go ahead and label the battery. So I just take a Sharpie, write on it. This is number 1. I'll go ahead and plug it in, and we'll start to measure resistance on these. So, all right, first battery's in. On this one, if I hit stop, I can go back into the settings and then go into battery resistance right here. So then I click start. It actually checks the batteries. And now I can see this does up to 6 cells. So I can see on the first cell 6, resistance on the second cell, resistance on the third cell, resistance on the fourth cell. So I write these numbers down. I'll show you the Excel spreadsheet I use. I write all those numbers down on the cell, and then kind of the date, the number, and then I just monitor those levels because, the lower the resistance, obviously the better electricity flow of the battery, and that way I get more performance out of it. And I want to keep that resistance, take good care of these batteries, and I want to keep that resistance pretty low. As they age, they start to go up. This is kind of one of the older batteries. But I've noticed 2, 3, 4 are really solid. As it starts to get up to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, those batteries, you can note it's a noticeable sag. So real easy. So just take these numbers, pop them in a spreadsheet, and then that way I can track them. Okay, so we've got the numbers off the charger. We wrote down the cell numbers, the resistance for each of the cells. Now, what I did is I just created a simple program, just a simple Excel spreadsheet or numbers spreadsheet. This isn't a Mac, so I use numbers. Just put the LIPO numbers here, the cell numbers, the overall LIPO status, and the brand. I track brand because I was playing around. I used to fly R lines. I've tried a bunch of batteries in the past. These China hobbies are awesome. Let's see if I can get you a good shot of them. So these are the China Hobby Mini Stars, 1500 milliamp hours and 120C. I love these for 4S. They've been solid for me, so I don't see any need to switch. As you can tell, all the brands I got running the 12 batteries, I've got 11 China Hobbies, and I do have the massive 2000 milliamp hour R line, which weight to power I'm not even quite sure on. It's a little heavy of a battery. So anyway, we got the numbers, we popped them in here, and then what I did, again, these numbers are going to be different for people. It's all a feel thing. It's all how you think your battery performs given your quad and how you fly. So for me, I kind of started with these numbers. Oscar Lang, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, L-I-A-N-G. Most people know Oscar. He's got a great blog out there and kind of a review site. He talks all about resistance, so I don't want this to be a resistance, training class or tutorial. But here's what I came up with. So in each of these, there is over here I can set kind of a conditional rule. Now for me, I think anything between 2 and 6 is pretty good. It's most batteries come at about a 2 resistance. I don't know if I've ever seen one at 1. And I don't know that there's any 0 resistance. Again, that's something I'll probably have to go look up. But between 2 and 6, that's fantastic. That's a good battery. You can see I've got some of these in here, very solid. And then I did anything between 6 and 9. It's an okay resistance. And then anything greater than 9, well, it's kind of aging. But it really depends upon the total. So that's why I do an overall LIPO status. That overall LIPO status just merely sums the cells. All resistance, and I don't know why, but each cell obviously degrades at a different time. And, that obviously a variety of circumstances on how the battery is treated. But for me, the totals that I did were anything less than 24. Even if I have a higher cell that might be yellow, like this one's, 6, the rest are 3, 4, 5. Still a great battery, but 6 is kind of in that yellow space. And then I did anything less than 36. Again, that's yellow. And then anything greater than 36, that battery is really aging. And then I'll rotate those out to either a soldering iron, or I'll use it for my goggles or something like that, right? At the end of the day, though, this is all about feel. Play with these numbers. Maybe start with these numbers. Drop me a comment what you guys think, how you're tracking resistance. This is for the little OCD in us, but if we take really good care of our batteries, these things will last forever. I've got some that are running pretty long. I mean, some of these are absolutely destroyed. And I've been running this one a long time. So, again, just an easy way for you to track resistance. I didn't know anything about it. Someone told me that's how you can start to tell the difference between batteries. I thought 4.2 per cell, if it charged, across the board, 16.8, oh, we're good to go. But although they have the same charge, I've got different performance on those batteries, and that comes down ultimately to resistance. So, do your own research. Check your numbers on your batteries and see if they match. I mean, I bet you know a battery and you're like, oh, this thing's a piece of dog crap. And then check the numbers, and then now you know why that's a piece of dog crap, and then start tracking those. Another important feature is that if I've got like a really cool spot and I'm going to do some pretty big power loops or something like that, I'll look at number 6 and 7. Those are the batteries that I want to use. Because those are the highest performing batteries, and it's a great spot, so I don't want to ruin it. So give me a shout down below. Let me know what you guys are doing, what you think. Give me some feedback for all you scientists out there. Tell me where I'm wrong. And then, yeah.